Alright, in these segments of videos we're going to be talking about clone cores. It's the name of the website as well as basically the product. There's going to be several different videos because I filmed them separately and kind of different days and whatnot. Basically, redid the video 5,000 times like I normally do, but I wanted you to see comparisons between the clone and the authentic Kanger coils, as well as the issues I was having with my mini Pro Tank 2 and what the H2 clear amizer looks like. So first we're going to insert the clip where I break down the clone and the authentic heads so you can see what they look like side by side. Alright, this is what the Pro Tank heads look like broken down. We have one side that is the clone, one side that is the authentic. Just briefly looking at them, you probably can't tell a difference. I can, just because I've been working with them, and when you feel it and see it up close, you can really tell a difference in the materials that are used. Overall, I will say, I'll preface this by saying that I do like the clone. They're made with really good materials, they're good quality, so I'm not griping on them by all means. I'm just illustrating and showing you what the differences are. If you look at the metals, you can tell you should be able to tell there's a slight difference in the color of the metals, which I'm guessing is just different alloys that are used, or maybe a different manufacturing, I'm not really sure. The one is thicker than the other. If you look at the bottom, this one is considerably thicker, about probably twice the size, but the stem is shorter. Not really sure what that's for. Maybe it's better in short protection, I'm not really sure. And I'll tell you right off the bat, this side is the legit Pro Tank Kanger head, and this one, the side is the clone. Then as for the base, this is probably the most similar of the pieces. They don't really look very different at all. They have the same O-rings that are there. The metal might be slightly, again, a little bit different because the Kanger one looks a little bit darker in color. Not that it really matters. Both are very sturdy, very solid metal. They're definitely not flimsy. As far as the insulator is probably the biggest difference I can pick out between the two as far as performance and looks. I do prefer the authentic insulator because it seems to be more resistant to burning. You can see a scorch mark there, or it could just be discoloration because my dad was using this with his tobaccos. I'm not really sure. It does look scorched a little bit, but in general I've had less issues with scorching with this one, which the authentic seems to be a different material. It seems to be more like a silica or a silicone material, whereas the clone seems to be more of a rubber material. And I mean, the color's a little bit different. This one, of course, is stained from tobacco, because my dad uses the one with natural extracts, which will stain a lot of things. But as far as how it performs, it doesn't affect it at all. It's just the way it looks. But when you get it straight from the mail or whatever, it's going to look more like this color in the center, just an off-white color. And yeah, so that's that. It does feel harder of a material, where this one's more flexible and malleable, I think is what the term is. But yeah. And then you have the chimney here, which one is slightly taller than the other. For whatever reason, the authentic is taller than the other. And I did get the tall version, or long stem version, in the clone, so it's not that I got the short one, because they do offer that as well. But as you can see, the clone is slightly shorter than the authentic, and then the diameter of the air channel is wider in the authentic than the clone, which I don't know if it constricts the air at all. I haven't really noticed much of a difference, but I've been using the authentic heads because for whatever reason it fits into my Pro Tank 2 Mini better, then the clones, ever since I switched out the glass portion of my tank, because the other one broke, I've been having issues getting the clones in there. And I'm pretty sure that I was using clones in there before I switched the tank out. So it could actually just be the tank, but it's something to keep in mind in case you replace your tank. You might have the same issue. So just bear that in mind. Don't get like a ton of these for your Pro Tank 2 and then find out that you can't use them. I lucked out on it because I can still use it in my H2 Clearmizer that you can get from Clone Cores, and the regular standard Pro Tank 2, which is what my dad's using, and it's working in that one just fine. So that's what it looks like all together, side by side. This is what they look like, and as you can see, they look pretty similar. Again, you could probably tell that altogether they're about the same length, but I'm thinking that the difference in height from one to the other is in that pin, because it is wider on the clone, and that takes up or makes up for the shorter stem. Maybe that's why they shortened the stem, I'm not really sure. And then the insulator is a little bit wider, and you know, the different material, but outside of that, I mean, they look pretty identical. And as I said before, the clone is definitely a good quality piece. It's not made of chintzy metals or anything like that, because I've had some bad clones before, and this is definitely not one of them. So that's what they look like. And here goes my cat trying to see if she'll do it on camera. Yep, there she goes. So that's what they look like. As you can see, like I mentioned and pointed out, they look very similar. There's really very minute differences, the biggest of which is it not fitting properly into my Pro Tank, my mini Pro Tank 2. And I actually filmed that here, and you're going to see first me trying to use the clone core and then me using the authentic, so you can see that it definitely, you know, one fits and one doesn't. So that'll be here. Alright, since I have my mini Pro Tank 2 taken apart to clean, I was changing the juice on it, I figured I would show you how the clone does not fit my mini Pro Tank 2 for some reason. Now, I put in the original tank that I had with it. This is, you can see it's cracked, but this is the glass that came with the Pro Tank 2, the mini. And I thought that I was able to use the clone heads before, which is what I have in here right now. But I just tried doing it, and I'm having the same issue that I'm having with the red one. Like, as you can see, it's just like you can't screw it down without forcing it. And then at that point, it's messing up the threads, and it's just not good. So, not really sure what that's about. I could have sworn I used the clone heads before, but apparently I was mistaken. Kind of afraid to screw this down too much because that's kind of how it got cracked to begin with. And it's starting to crack even further. So yeah, I'm gonna not do that anymore. Plus it's messing up my O-ring inside. But this is the tank that I got as a replacement. I just got it off eBay. Supposedly this is a authentic Kanger tank. It was only like I think it was like $4. I would not recommend getting the colored ones because, as you can see, it's just like got this coating on it, which is coming off, and I kind of don't like that. Actually, I really don't like that because, you know, it could be going into my juice. I don't really want to be vaping that. So I just recommend sticking with the clear, even though it's not as fun. It's just safer, but looking at the diameter of the glass, it looks like the red is slightly thinner than the clear, but that could just be the color, because darker colors, you know, have a smaller appearance. But yeah, I don't know. But for whatever reason, the only heads that fit in here are from the authentic, the authentic Kanger heads, which I'll show you. Like, this is the clone. I don't know if it has to do with that thicker pin at the bottom. I'm not really sure. But the one with the insulator that's clear, which is the authentic one, it fits into there just fine. Watch it not do it now. Oh, wait a minute, I kind of need the other part, See, as you can see, it fits in just fine, like no resistance problems whatsoever. So I'm not really sure what's up with that, but just keep in mind that if you have the mini, if you're planning on using these cores for the mini Pro Tank 2, you might have that issue. My dad, as I've said before, uses them in the regular Pro Tank 2, no issues. So I'm not really sure what that's about, but there you go. And then this last video is where I talk about the H2 Claramizer. The H2 Claramizer, as far as I know, is actually their design, because on the website it says it's inspired by the EVOD and MT3. So that'll be here. Alright, this is what the H2 Claramizer looks like. I have the clone core right here. This one actually I rebuilt because I rebuilt all my coils or heads once I'm done with them, or they start diminishing in flavor. But currently working on a vertical coil configuration, which is a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. So that just, tried doing this with one hand is not fun. You just screw it into the base like you would any other like Pro Tank type thing. Just screw it down until it won't screw anymore. And it looks like that. And then you fill it just by avoiding that little air channel. I'm using juice that I made myself, which is a Franken Vape clone. It's basically kiwi and marshmallow. Actually really good. I don't even know if this is gonna work. So you just fill it like this, avoiding that center channel. I fill it up pretty high, not necessarily all the way to the 2 ml line. I'm basically just going to empty whatever's left in here, which is pretty much that. Then you just screw this into that, and you get this. And then I just let it sit upright like that for a few minutes to make sure that the wick is saturated, so you're not going to get dry hits. This one's actually primed already because I've been using it trying to perfect the wicking material, because as I mentioned, vertical coils are not simple, especially in these Claramizer kind of heads. But yeah, so as you can see, it's just one solid piece, so you're not going to be able to use your own drip tip or anything like that. But for the price and, you know, the performance, I don't really mind that. So that's what that is. And then you can see the knurling, which helps you grip. To unscrew that, just the base, and then that little hole for your airflow. And yeah. Overall, I do like the clone cores. I think they're a very good price. Currently, the exact ones I got are out of stock, but on the website it says they're supposed to be back in stock as of 12/7, which is actually today. So, well, yesterday as of 3 minutes ago, but they should have been back in stock, so I don't know if it's just an outdated message or, but neither here nor there, it should be back in stock very soon. I got the long stem regular Pro Tank head. It's supposed to fit the Pro Tank MT3 and H2 Claramizer, which I showed you in one of the videos. I got the long stem. Those are 10 for $7.49. You can also get the short stem. I'm not really sure what the difference is as far as, like, you know, the difference in performance, like how it performs compared to the other, or if there's different versions of tanks that it's supposed to one work for, one I'm not really sure. But you can get the short tank as well. I mean, it's advertised to fit the same tanks as the long stem, so I'm not sure what the difference is. And you can also get 24 for $14.99 if you want to get a little bit more. You basically get more for your money. The short stem is currently displaying as in stock though. They also have Pro Tank 3 heads that fit the Aero tank as well. Those are 10 for $9.99. Those are dual coils. Now I can say that I've tried to rebuild the dual coils because I have a mini Pro Tank 3 and it's a pain in the ass. I gave up really. The airflow wasn't right. I was getting gurgling, and it would overwick or it would underwick. It was just horrible. Hated it. They also have Aspire Nautilus and Aspire Nautilus mini heads. They're the same head. You can get 10 for $14.99. I think those were out of stock though. And you can get iClear heads. The iClear 30, 10 for $9.99. And then the H2 Claramizer, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's $2.99, has a 2 milliliter capacity, and it does have ego threading, so make sure whatever device you're going to put it on has that capability. Shipping is a flat rate of $1.99, so it's really good, at least for the US. For Canada, it's more expensive. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but you know, shipping to Canada is going to be obviously more expensive because it's out of the country. So I can say that I've only purchased twice from them, but both times I got my little automated email from them right away stating that they received my order and it was processing. And then within the same day I got another email stating that my package was ready for shipment, and it went out the next day. I received my package within, I think it was 4 days of when I purchased it. So that's really good, especially, you know, for a very low fee of $1.99. So that is it. If you have any questions or comments, put them below.